All right, welcome in. It is 9:11 on the dot here. So we have a special opportunity this morning to check in with the mayor of the fastest growing big city in our region this morning, Everett Mayor Cassie Franklin, joining us now from her office. Mayor, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Absolutely. On that note, I just mentioned Everett is the fastest growth of any big city in the area. Population went up, 1.5% in 2020. So, what are we doing when we talk about people trying to find affordable housing in a city like Everett? It's becoming harder and harder to do so.
It is. We are working really hard to ensure that we have housing at all price points here in the city. In the last couple of years, we permitted 2,100 new units that are going up. We've got projects on the riverfront and the waterfront, so a lot of exciting opportunities. Right now, we are doing an evaluation of our incentives to make sure that we remain the most development-friendly community to ensure that as the region grows, we're growing our housing market here.
On that same note here, as we talk about people living in Everett, we've been covering this wild story about this garbage backlog at the Snohomish County transfer facilities. Half of the county's garbage is dumped at its Everett location. So what are we telling people to do? You can't not take out your trash. What are some steps to remedy this situation?
I think that issue is impacting the county residents more than the city of Everett. City of Everett is taken care of by Rubatino, and so we are collecting garbage. They're doing a great job, and our residents are still able to get that taken care of by our provider.
Okay, good to know. Thanks for making that distinction for us. We appreciate that. This morning here, talking a little bit, actually, this was this week, we had Boeing reporting kind of a less than ideal quarter. They talked about it as, quote, dreadful, way less revenue than they were expecting. And, Boeing has, it has a big footprint in this region, and especially in Everett. Are we concerned about the future of Boeing in Everett? What's the latest with that?
I'm always concerned when Boeing hurts, Everett hurts, but, Boeing has invested $1 billion most recently in Everett with the 777X wing facility. Boeing's not going anywhere. This has been a really difficult time for the aerospace industry, and absolutely it's impacting Everett because it's impacting our largest employer. Mm-hmm. But we are trying to balance that by working with the aerospace companies to try to make sure that they are getting their needs met, so that when it's time to grow and we're seeing that growth back in that industry, that we have the workforce there to support them. And we're really welcoming transformational other companies to the city to try to diversify our economy. We've got Helion working on fusion technology, TerraPower, nuclear energy, CGen, cancer research. So we're really diversifying the what we have here available as a major job center in the region.
Okay, all right. Because if we talk about aviation, and you mentioned Boeing has been huge for that area and for the region really. And when we talk about aviation as well, you can't talk about that without talking about Payne Field. A little bit back and forth during the pandemic. We've heard that Alaska has had to delay adding flights. United suspended service at one point. What are your hopes for the airport now that travel is really starting to pick up again?
Yeah, our hopes are that we have all those flights back. In fact, I think we have most of our Alaska flights back. So we're really excited to have Payne Field right here in our own backyard. I don't know if you've flown out of Payne Field. If you haven't, I really encourage you to do so. It is a completely different experience. It's like a luxury experience. And the way I describe it, it's like flying as you imagined it when you were a kid, where you walk into this beautiful place and you can have something to eat, have a drink, and then you get on a plane in one of the most beautiful areas of the country. So Payne is really starting to pick back up. It struggled, obviously, during the pandemic as the travel industry went down, but we're really seeing recreational travel come back and even business travel start to come back. So I'm pretty optimistic about the growth that we're going to see there.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about travel, that's for sure. Is there any idea where else we could be flying out of Payne Field to go? Is there any talk about adding any more cities or anything like that?
I have my favorite cities that I'd love to see added there, but I'm not sure about that yet. I know that the airlines definitely look at the the cities that are most traveled, that are most wanted, and those tend to be what we already have, right? Las Vegas, Palm Springs, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and so those are some great flights. Portland, Spokane, but you know, I'd love to see us go a little further, and I think that might be a little time off still.
Okay, all right. So hopefully we'll get an update on that soon. You know, speaking of traveling around the area and around the region, we have to talk about traffic as well. That can be an issue getting through Everett and through Snohomish County. Are there any updates from Sound Transit or Community Transit on options for commuters, light rail projects? What can you tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you I'm working hard as part of the Sound Transit Board, and it is it's difficult work. It's a regional project, such an important project that is going to impact us for years to come, but it's still a long ways off before we get light rail in Everett. In the meantime, we are working pretty hard on our local transportation options. Obviously, Community Transit serves Everett, but we're also served by Everett Transit, and we're bringing forward fare reductions, so youth fares are going to be for free. Orca Lift for folks that are eligible, they can get a reduced fare of $1, and then they're also going to be subsidized fares for the first time for those that are eligible. So I think that will help people get around. And you know, I was just at the ribbon cutting in Linwood for Bus Rapid Transit, so that's very exciting, and that will really help buses avoid traffic. And on top of that, this summer we have scooters coming back to Everett, and so that's a great way to avoid getting stuck in traffic if you're just going to get around the city. Hopping on one of our bird scooters is going to be a lot better than hopping on the freeway.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and scooters will be fun in the summer too. Mayor Cassie Franklin, great to talk to you this morning. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, great to talk with you as well. Have a great day.
You too.